Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. We got a new part. Just came in for the Kawasaki X2. Let's open it up. I was looking through Facebook the other day and somebody posted that they had just got a brand new PJS steering nozzle for their X2. So I'm thinking, found some new old stock somewhere. Then I did a little more reading, and PJS is still in business, making brand new parts. Now granted, it's not the same PJS, not the same owners from the 90s, but they are making the same parts. Now I'd seen PJS steering nozzles on eBay, some of the old stuff, used, but they all wanted really good money for it, and most of them were kind of old and corroded. But this baby is brand new. Yep, there's the bolts. Comes with the bolts to install it. Looks dang nice. And this will eliminate your trim. And I have already got the trim on mine blocked up to where it doesn't work, but this will eliminate the extra joint in the nozzles. So that'll be nice. I tried adding a spacer at one point and using a 650SX nozzle, but I didn't like the way it all hooked up. So let's hope this works better. But yeah, just as soon as I saw that these were available new, it was like click, 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 and we had one on the way. And they even sent a nice new sticker. What would a high performance part be without a sticker? Unfortunately, before we get to putting the nozzle on, we got another little problem with the ski, and its solution's in this little package here. Let's see if you can figure out what's in that package. The other day I'm riding it and I noticed that the water bypass, the pisser on the side of it, was kind of just intermittent, looked like it had some air in it. So I kept riding, and then I started noticing it looked like it had smoke coming out of it. And then we turn around and start heading back. I start losing power, and we make it back, bring it home, do a compression check. Front cylinder, 90 pounds. Back cylinder, 150. You guessed it. Package got a new head gasket. Yeah, it's been 5 years since we rebuilt these, but I've never had a head gasket fail on a jet ski before. But you can see right there in the corner, the coating on this metal head gasket has come apart. I was just shooting combustion gases right into the cooling jacket. Like I said, I don't think I've ever put a head gasket in just for a head gasket. I think the only thing that uses those flat metal gaskets that I've had in the past has been SL750 Polaris. And it used, 3 individual ones for each cylinder. Now the Sea-Doo, my Speedster, I've had it for 22 years. Never had to put a head gasket in it, but they use O-rings. I think the Yamaha I had before that had, I think they have like a fiber gasket in the water jackets and then a metal fire ring right around the cylinder. So I didn't have the Yamaha that long, but never had any trouble with it. 701, they're pretty much bulletproof. But this one gave out. This should be pretty straightforward. As you can see, I have trimmed the back of my ski basically enough to get rid of the holes where the trim was on the back. Now, Junior's is stock. Let's see, your nozzle's a little more further in on his. I'm not sure. That thing may stick quite a ways out. It's real easy to change. First thing we're going to do is take out the 4 bolts and hold the ride plate on. I'll show you how I have the nozzle locked in place right at the moment, in case you want to take off your trim or have been looking for a way to fasten it in place. It's pretty simple. And I'm certainly not trying to talk anybody into taking their trim off, but I rode it for a while and never used the trim. And the big knob up here, I kind of like the flat deck there, which if you had the trim, it'd be right here, and you can't do the flat deck with that. So now under here, looking at the nozzle assembly, you have your pump housing, you have your reduction cone, you have your trim nozzle, and you have your steering nozzle. Trim nozzle is supposed to move up and down, and you have to fasten it in place when you take the rod off that used to go up to your control. I filled in the hole there, and what I did to hold the nozzle in place is just took a piece of aluminum bar stock here, bolted it into one of the pump bolts. And this is one of the rod ends that came off of the original control cable, with a piece of threaded rod going through this. I just threaded through the aluminum block, used a little nut as a lock nut, and then the original piece here. And that holds the nozzle right where you want it. So we'll take all of this assembly off. This hose here is your water feed line. It's mounted actually to the pump, so it stays as is. This is your bilge line. Well, it's a little dark in there, but we'll take it off here. We'll probably take it off up here for now and then put it back onto the new nozzle assembly, because I like running the standard siphon bilge along with an electric. But I held the new nozzle up. It's about almost identical, same length. And what I tried to do before was put a spacer in here, and it seems like that spacer had a little built-in angle to move the nozzle assembly up. And what you did was use an SX650 cone and steering nozzle, and it just, trying to remember exactly why I didn't like it, but it had to do with the steering linkage, and it just didn't fit in there like I wanted it to, and so I just didn't do it and ended up with this assembly here. But the SX650s do not have the trim, so they do not have that intermediate nozzle. I'm going to disconnect my steering nozzle. Just slide that forward and it comes off the little stop, and that will end up being transferred over to your new nozzle. So now it's just take out the 4 screws that hold that nozzle onto the pump. And there's with the trim part disconnected, so you can move the nozzle up and down, but it just didn't do much on this ski for me. I mean, I ran in the neutral position and then just used body weight to move it around however I needed to. And I was doing a little measuring here because I knew the nozzles were a little bit different diameter than stock. Now the steering nozzle, this one's about 90 millimeters across. This steering nozzle is 87. So it's just a little smaller on the steering nozzle. Now let's measure the reduction nozzle, because it looks like there's a considerable difference on it. Okay, diameter on the stock one was 83. This one is like 85, 86 range. So not a huge difference on that either. We'll get this bolted on and see what it looks like. And one last thing I'll do before I put it on there is transfer the little steering ball over. Now I measured with the calipers from the center pivot over to the ball, and it looks like the inner one is closest to what it was stock. So that's what I'm going to start with. I'll just unscrew that, little Loctite, put in that inner hole. Well, that's all for the nozzle install. I love it. I think it looks great. Now, whether it makes any difference or not, I'll find out on the next video, because we'll be on the water. I do like it a lot better than this floppy thing. The only other difference I did notice was your stock reduction nozzle has these fins, which that one does not. Now, those fins I assume are to straighten out the flow, but that's what your stator's for, so not sure how important these are. Another thing we'll find out. But yeah, I think it looks great. Now, here's a little shock. you gotta try this thing. Like it? Got pretty good acceleration, don't it?
And it launches good.
Yeah.
They get pretty good air.
Yeah. Yeah, just for skipping it across the water, sure. I thought it made a good difference.
Mine feel slow.
No, actually yours did. I didn't think it felt slow. Yours always felt pretty good.
I know, but
Yours is just a little quieter for whatever reason. Yeah. Yeah. That nozzle is the deal. All right, Junior, show us the problem.
Oh.
We found one problem with the nozzle. Otherwise, I am thoroughly impressed with the nozzle. Mid-range is better. Steering is quick.
Still faster.
Yeah, he's still pulling away a little bit at top speed, but about the same, so that means I didn't lose any top speed.
That's what you think.
Well, that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think. Smart at. But yeah, I am happy with it. Would do it again. It's like I was telling him, when I'll do a tail stand or something, if I want to get back up on plane, just kind of struggle a little before. It'd do it, but didn't seem real happy about it. Now it just jumps right up there and goes. And it really, on the rough water, it's really a good combination with the dried out pipe, the 44 millimeter Mikuni, the works intake grate, and that nozzle. Everything is really a good package right now. It just has really good acceleration in the mid-range. I mean, you can pretty much always use more power, but this is one of the first times that I haven't felt like I needed more power. It ran sweet.